Hello, Gemini. Great to have you here. My name is Shauna. Today's reading is a general love forecast. As always, take the messages that resonate and release anything that doesn't. Don't forget to like and subscribe to stay connected with upcoming readings. Let's see what's headed your way, Gemini.
I'm getting here is this acceleration and this bubbling up energy, a lot of communication, a lot of meetings, a lot of I feel like handshaking, being introduced to new people is happening in your life for this month. Okay, so I feel that for a lot of you, your social circle is expanding. What I'm also feeling is I see like this emotional rift and distance as well, emotional rift as well as distance between you and another person. And I feel like this might have been a romantic interest in your life. I feel that for some reason I'm getting that, like you might have dated each other in the past. Things didn't really get off the ground, first of all. And the other person is now coming back in. And I feel like the other person was either dealing with their own issues or something about like depression is what I'm feeling. This could be you, this could be another person, but I feel like you're being contacted, or there's some type of contact between you and another person from your past, and there was some type of, in the past there might have been some issue with depression from your end or from their end that didn't allow the relationship to get off the ground properly. I feel that a lot of you know that this is not a situation that can be gone back to. And I don't feel that it's going to work out this second time around. And I do sense a lot of you are aware of that, but you're still, you're trying to be supportive, and you feel like, what's the harm? Like, what's the worst that could happen? I can give I can give the other person a little bit of support, or, letting them back in at this crucial moment is still just going to be a very, very short-term fix. But what I feel is that it's preventing you from, you have really good energies coming through via new people. So it's best for you to go with the new, because energy is trying to push through to allow you to break out of your shell, break out of your comfort zone, and to really meet new people, okay, to overcome that sense of like isolation if you've been dealing with that in the past. So you've got new people trying to come in, so it's best to go with new energies. What I'm also feeling is it seems as if a lot of you are still trying to think about, or still heavily thinking about somebody from your past, and you're wanting them to come back, and as a result you're putting your life on hold, and you're not seizing new opportunities that are coming through. And a lot of you are just like, I feel for some reason this person might have friend zoned you. Okay, somebody got friend zoned, and it's still difficult to move on, because there's still that question of like, what if, are they being nice so they friend zone me, or do they want something in the future? So does their no means no, absolutely no, or does it mean no for now but maybe yes later? So you're still thinking about these things. And I feel that the overwhelming advice, sorry about that, I forgot to get the advice cards. The overwhelming advice I feel is that whoever you're dealing with, I feel like they're pretty straightforward with their intentions, okay? When it comes to communication, that's another problem, but I feel like what you see is pretty much what you get, so you can take things at face value. So if they say no or yes or whatever it is, that's pretty much what they mean. So don't overanalyze, don't read too much into it, and just, accept it for what it is. I do feel that's going to bode well for you. And in the meantime, don't put your life on hold for another person, okay? So try to move ahead and to do things your way, so that I feel like a lot of options are just trying to come through, and you're keeping yourself stuck hostage, or in the hopes that somebody's going to come around, or someone will feel inspired, or will feel the need to, come around, or change their mind. And I feel like you're projecting this energy where it's like wishful thinking, willing the other person to change their mind. But it doesn't really work that way when you're dealing with another person's free will and another person's intentions, okay? So just be very careful about that. Um, Let me straighten the cards, and then we'll go ahead with your reading, Geminis. So, first of all, We can look at your romantic life here. We have here the Seven of Cups, which indicates fantasy. It indicates a lot of options. It indicates also scattered energy. So you've got all these cups that are filled to the brim with like promises of a good time, of stability, of everything that you've ever asked for. So all of these options are coming through. There are many, many of them to choose from. Some of them are very, very good for you and some aren't so great. So the whole point here is that it's like being a kid in a candy store. You're careful about where you are treading and which options you are choosing. I also want to say that what is not really talked about a lot with this card is that all of these options, it's a major arcana cards, and all of these options means that you can pick one without negating the other options. It's not like a crossroads where one path will negate the other path, okay? So it's less fatal than that. It's less important than that. So I feel that no matter what you decide to do, you're going to either end up with what you want or what you don't want, but either way, it's the process of elimination that will allow you ultimately to figure out what it is you want and then, you know, to make better choices or to be sure and more certain about your choices in the future. It's the whole learning process. It's the process of elimination and going through the motions to filter out the things that we don't want so we end up with something that is good for us. Okay, so it's a very beautiful card. It is a very good card. What I'm also feeling is be very careful about the tendency to daydream, okay? Excuse me. I feel for a lot of you on the emotional front, you are, I'm sensing that you are either thinking about ruminating over, fantasizing over like an authority figure. We do have the Emperor here showing up, and this is a person that is of like great stature, great status, and they have a lot of wisdom, work experience. They're in a high profession. They really care about their public image, and they're very, very stern, very strict. So a lot of you, this might be a boss, might be a supervisor. There might be some fantasies associated with someone in the work environment, and there is some type of a power dynamics, power differential between the two of you. So I feel like it's kind of like, you know, having that fantasy for somebody that you know that you can't really have. So I do sense that coming through. And I do feel that the person that you've got your eyes on is someone who's very, very strong-minded, strong-willed, quite intelligent, and pretty, is in a position of authority over you, okay? What I'm also sensing is that I feel, Geminis, honestly, that you've got a lot of options opening up on the romantic front, and the universe is trying to deliver this for you and trying to steer you in the right direction so that you can break free from restrictions and unhealthy relationships that you've been contending with for quite some time. And it's also telling you to be very careful as well about who you select to be in your inner circle, who you let into your life, into your inner circle, so that you can develop healthier, more meaningful, and also I feel just, you know, more emotionally rewarding relationships. So options are opening up, and just be careful about who you choose and where you tread, okay? On the interpersonal relationship, on the friendship, but especially on the romantic front. The Emperor denotes a very, very strong person. It's somebody who can be a little bit dogmatic, a little bit stubborn, but I do feel that they have the best intentions for you. So they might come to you with this offer, and you're trying to project, like you're over analyzing already, and you're jumping the gun, and you're just like siphoning, you're just like imagining, you know, what's the future going to look like 5-10 years from now. And what it's saying here is that take it one day at a time and don't over analyze, don't overthink. Go with your instinct. Learn to trust your instinct and learn to trust that voice in your head when things aren't all that they seem, when things are a little bit cloudy and fuzzy and you don't have all the information. Try to listen to that inner voice, and you know it will steer you in the right direction, okay? It's your spirit guides trying to talk to you. So in terms of your mental, emotional state, we do have the Four of Swords as well as the Devil. The Devil indicates addiction, and it indicates like ways of doing, behaviors, relationships, interaction with ourselves and those around us that are not entirely positive, okay? In certain instances, it can also indicate like some type of I'm feeling substance abuse, and alcohol does come to mind. Alcohol and other harder substances actually do come to mind, because it's linked up with the Four of Swords, which is a recuperation card. I feel like for some of you, you might be in a capacity where you are detoxing in whatever capacity. It could be like institutionally, you might be at a rehab center, a retreat center, in order to overcome this. A lot of you are trying to like find a little bit more emotional fulfillment, spiritual enlightenment in your own life, so that you are potentially taking a retreat away from people, from civilization, in order to do some introspection, in order to get yourself in a space where you're able to listen to the inner voice and to get inner wisdom and to get higher spiritual guidance. Okay. Others of you might be seeking counsel, so you might seek somebody who's like a spiritual advisor as well, in order to help you overcome these issues or to help you find answers for them. The devil is also a situation where, you know, we are inundated. We don't know where to go. There is fear, there's restriction, and it's a very frustrating place to be. And I feel like rather than trying to fight it, because, you know, it has such great control over us, a lot of you are trying to find ways to cope with it, or a lot of you are trying to find ways to extract yourself. So I don't see a lot of movement happening in order to combat this, but I feel that a lot of you are coming to the realization that something in your life has been very, very restrictive for you. It could be physically a person, or just the way that you react to them, or just how controlling they can be. But a lot of you are starting to at least see this is a serious problem. I don't know how to fix it yet, but I'm going within in order to find a way for me to break myself out of this and to find a solution to handle this issue. In terms of what's coming through for your communication, we do have the Eight of Cups and the Eight of Swords. So the Eight of Cups indicates a situation that is no longer emotionally fulfilling for us, or is nurturing us emotionally, so we are choosing to walk away from it. And in the process of walking away, a lot of you might have not implemented that physical, you know, extraction process, and you are thinking, well, if I walk away from this right now, I'm going to find myself very, very stuck, very isolated, and very alone. I might not have, you know, any support, emotional support, financial support. So what do I do? So a lot of you might not have implemented anything at this point, mainly because you are fearing that in the process of walking away, you're going to end up in this space where you're feeling very, very trapped. Okay. I honestly feel that some of you might be stuck in a situation, and I feel like it might be a job where you are working under somebody who has like just very unrealistic expectations for you. They might be controlling, they might be difficult to work with, and I feel like job security was a major, major factor that's preventing you from moving on. Okay, with that Emperor card, it's usually like workplace related, and I feel that you've invested a lot of time. You were waiting for some type of a payout, which is promotions, which is kind of like moving up the career ladder. And it's also indicating to me um, this is like, you know, slaving away, getting promises to have a breakthrough, or to be the top manager or the top position of that situation, to be on the top of that pyramid. And a lot of you are realizing that, you know, it was somebody else that was painting this colorful picture, this beautiful picture, in order to make you stay. But the reality is that the situation is very restrictive. You weren't really going anywhere. And I feel that this is the month in which you realize that, you know, it's a like a pipe dream. They were selling you a pipe dream, and you have to walk away from this situation. The offer that was made to you, or that was like continually came your way from the other person, was a pipe dream. You started to realize this, and you're at a place now where you're just like, okay, I'm very upset with this. So what do I do? You know, how do I move forward? What is my contingency plan? What's my plan B? Because I feel like before it was all eggs in one basket, because you trusted that other person. And now you realize that, oh, they were just, you know, feeding me um, all these ideals just so that I could stay, just so that I could be complacent. and compliant, but they had no intentions of moving me up all along. They had no intention of boosting me up. So I feel that you're trying to walk away and you're trying to do it in a manner where it's not like burning bridges, where it's not a breach of your contract. So you might be contractually obligated to stay, and you're trying to, break away for this month. And I definitely feel if it's a situation you're dealing with that involves like breaching contracts or breaking some type of contracts in order to free yourself. I definitely feel a lot of fear of reprisal, a lot of fear of retaliation as well. So I feel a little, so I feel like for some of you, this energy might have come in already and you're at a point where you're just like, what do I do next? Like, what's my next step here? And where do I go? Which direction am I turning to? And I do feel that they're saying here with the Five of Pentacles is a situation in which we are lacking in a sense of direction, lacking in faith in people and in life. And when we're operating from this kind of like this space of suspicion, we have our guard up and we are like in full-blown paranoia and things like that. So it's not conducive for attracting a lot of abundance and opportunities and even people that are going to be good for us when we're constantly on the defense, when we're constantly like mired in this state of emotional and spiritual lack and lacking in self-confidence in ourselves as well. So I feel that for those of you who are looking for new jobs, I feel that this is a good month in which you should break out, because I feel like you've been thinking about this for quite some time. And then others of you who have been dealing with somebody who was like fed empty promises, and I feel like if that's something on the romantic front that you were dealing with, you're still on the defense. You're still very battle hardened and very weary about letting new people in. And you're still trying to sort out your own financial situation. You're sorting out your life. You're trying to build or rebuild the foundation of your life so you might not be in a position to invite anybody new into your own life. And I do feel some residual attachment with an ex is still in the picture. That's preventing you from moving on completely. And I feel like it's you might be linked together still via finances, okay? In terms of your spiritual advice, we do have the High Priestess here. And the High Priestess is a situation where information is coming to light, where knowledge, expertise, little snippets of information that you've had suspicions about, that you wanted to get to the bottom of, all of these things are being brought up for re-examination so that you can see a situation in its entirety and to see it realistically. We do have the Seven of Wands as well. This information that's coming through, it is going to be a little bit troublesome. It's going to evoke an automatic response within you. So I feel like it's that whole fight or flight type of a situation where you're going to hear something that you might not be happy with, and it's forcing you to put yourself in a situation where you're going to have to defend your territory, defend the things that you are really, really that you really believe in, that you want to stand up for, that you don't want to lose. Okay, so something is happening this month where it's forcing you, Geminis, to take a stance and to really stick up for what you believe in, okay? And another thing that I'm feeling here is I did the reading for Libra, and Libra had a very similar energy where I feel like they're going to have to take a stance. They're dealing with another person that is questioning their authority. And I feel like this is not the same energy I'm picking up for you, but there's some information coming through. And I feel like Geminis, you tend to be very easygoing, you don't like have you're not a fixed sign either, so you don't have like a very strong like I would say strong peeves, like pet peeves. You don't oscillate like between extremes the way that the fixed signs are or do. So I feel that a lot of things are coming through for this month, and it's forcing you to look at yourself in a different light as well. It's pushing you to really defend whatever it is that you believe in, to not acquiesce to other people in order to maintain peace, and to also realize that, charm and good manners and all of these things, they are nice. They're good for maintaining relationships. But in a situation where you're trying to get your point across and the other person is like purposely not wanting to hear you, you are going to have to be a little bit more you will have to be a little bit more aggressive in order to push your agenda along, okay? So if you're able to implement this, then I definitely feel you're able to come a lot of restrictions. You're able to break out of your shell. You're able to do things in a different manner in order to push and streamline to push for a resolution or to push an agenda forward in a way that's going to be better for you in the long run. And I do feel that you're pushing ideas forward so that financially you will be covered. So I feel like it's more on the financial front where you're doing this. And I also feel that especially if there have been situations where you were promised something, okay, like there was a contract that was signed where you work for them for 3 years, for example, and then they're supposed to give you some type of bonus or some type of perks, like they're supposed to give you either a sponsorship or grants, funding, or something, a different position, or they're supposed to promote you. And I feel like they are feigning ignorance, is what I'm sensing, and they're doing it on purpose. And I feel like they signed that contract so that you would be loyal to them, so that you believe that there is social mobility in this work environment. And you're starting to realize that, hey, the term of the contract is ending, and they haven't really approached me with this topic. So what am I going to do? And I do sense that you're setting a very good precedence for yourself for this month if you were to stand up for yourself, and if you were to fight for what you believe in, fight for what was promised in that contract, fight for justice, and fight for the things that you were led to believe, because that's what I feel was happening. You came in very, very starry-eyed. You might not even remember 3 years ago if there was a contract that you signed, but I feel like that's something that's coming through, and I'm getting some type of a work contract where somebody wanted to, they wanted to sell you a dream, and they made all these promises, and I feel like you were waiting for them to deliver. You never forgot about it. You were waiting for them to deliver, and they're telling you, in order to get other people to deliver, you need to hold them accountable to, their promises, to the things that they bring to the table. So you are going to have to defend what you believe is rightfully yours, and to defend the give and take in that type of a social interaction, okay? In order to do that, that means drawing up boundaries, and that means enforcing these boundaries, like, here's what I'm bringing to the table, and here's what you promised me. So I feel all of these things are coming in, and it's going to be really good for you. So how you handle yourself is going to bring the rewards that you're looking for. And I do sense it's going to be really good for you to really step out and, just take a stance and fight for it, okay? I do sense the rewards are going to be greatly in your interest, all right? So let's go into your love reading here, Geminis. Okay. So for Geminis, what is the overall theme for you guys? Love, romance, relationship for this month. What is your challenge? And what is the overall picture here? So we have a card that flipped out. I'm going to use that for the mirror spread. What else is coming through? Yeah, so we've got the Seven of Wands again, and earlier it's a card about standing up for your belief. It's a card about self-defense and all of these things. So I do feel that's coming through again, and it's becoming a pervasive theme for this month, and especially in your love relationship as well. Okay, so the overall theme here is the King of Wands in the reverse position. This is something that you're dealing with for this month in your love sector, okay? The King of Wands in the reverse position is a little bit of a flake out energy. It's somebody who overextends his or her time, and it's somebody that makes promises that they can't really deliver, okay? In the mundane sense, this is somebody who's greatly, they have a lot of physical, sexual energy, and they they're a king, so they're very strategic. They might know how to sweet talk, they might know how to charm, they might know how to get exactly what they need to get from the other person by saying what the by like adopting the personality, or by charming, or by like convincing the other person that they are a specific way, so that they can get whatever it is from the other person. This is something that is it's very, very passionate, but it burns out very quickly. So you might be swept off your feet by this person. You might be the one that's exhibiting the qualities, but I do feel it's something that starts out like in a a burst of passion, and then it dwindles out, and it can be quite unreliable. Okay, so this is like unbridled passion, feeling very, very riled up about another person, good or bad, and feeling very passionate about another person. In the challenge position, we do have the Chariot in the reverse, and showing up as the challenge position, it basically means two separate entities that are not working harmoniously together as a unit. We do have, the Chariot is pulled by the two horses. In the traditional Rider-Waite deck, they're different colors. So one is like dark, and one is white, and they both indicate like basically the good and the bad side of us, like the things that we want in order to for ourselves versus the things that we need to do in order to work together as a unit. So these are like two opposing energies or disparate energies trying to work together harmoniously in order to advance forward. Okay. And I do feel with this situation, there's a lot of stop go energy permeating across your romantic sector. So you're dealing with someone who blows like really, really hot, and then all of a sudden they retreat. So I feel like you're getting a lot of mixed signals from another person, or just circumstantially, you're not able to express yourself, your drive, your ambition, all this sexual energy. You're not finding an outlet for it, okay? So that's what I'm feeling for some of you. The center of the spread here, excuse me, we do have the Empress. And the Empress, this is it's femininity, but I feel that this is a card that embodies beauty, okay? Um, you can be male or female. When the Empress shows up in your spread, it basically means you have really, really intense and immense power of attraction. So I feel that it's in the upright position. So you have a lot of suitors, you have a lot of people that are vying for your attention, and I feel that your standards are very, very high, and there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with having high standards. I definitely feel that you're kind of like scoping around the territory. You've got a little bit of a bird's eye view, and you're kind of like standing up on a pedestal looking at the environment just to see where you want to walk, who you're trying to walk towards, and how you are like who you really want to be with. So I definitely feel that a lot of options are made available to you. I feel a lot of options are made available, and you know that. You know that as well. So you know that, you can get with whoever it is that is still in your midst, okay? What's really coming through here? We do have the Justice card and the Five of Cups. The Justice card is showing up in the reverse, which basically means that in the past, there might have been a situation that was very, very imbalanced, and that might have been some residual lingering like legal issues that is still not resolved, okay? The Empress deals with motherhood, so a lot of you, there might be some issues about wanting to be very, very selective about who you're dating, mainly because there might be children in the picture. You are a little bit more careful about who you let into your life because you don't want negative influences to surround your children. Others of you, it might be, like I feel that you're getting good attention. I feel like you're getting really good attention, but you're looking for more people who are somewhat like in the same alignment, who are in alignment with your same goals, your same needs, okay? So I feel like you're putting a stop to things if they've been blowing really, really heavy, but you don't really see long-term potential. I feel that you're putting an end to it. You're reclaiming the situation, and you're basically reclaiming your power, but also you're the one in charge of steering it along, like to either stop it or to um allow it to move forward, okay? The Justice card is linked up here with the Five of Cups, and the Five of Cups is overcoming sadness and regrets when it deals with another person, when it pertains to another person. So you might have had a very long-standing love affair with another person from your past that you're not completely over, and I feel like it has taken you a lot of time, a lot of dating in order to get yourself to the point where you're just like, you know what, I'm a very good catch, and I don't feel like I need this past person in my life, so I'm going to let that go. So you are overcoming past sadness, past regrets. You're having faith in life again. You're in a really, really good environment to start dating again. And you're in a good space where you're going to be able to attract a lot of good things your way. What I'm also feeling is, again, be really careful about pregnancy, because we do have the Empress and the King of Wands. And the King of Wands, this is like heavy, heavy sexual energy, okay? It's feeling, like both of these cards indicate conception to me as well. So just be careful about that. If that's something that's not planned, or that's something that you don't want, just protect yourself accordingly, okay? The other aspect here that's showing up is the Seven of Wands as well as the Two of Wands. Let's talk about the Seven of Wands first. It's showing up in the reverse position. The Seven of Wands is a situation where we are not standing up for ourselves. It's next to the Justice card in the reverse position. So I definitely feel like somebody was feeling overpowered in a relationship, okay? They don't agree with the other person, but they're like maintaining peace and harmony by not pushing, not wanting to discuss these important topics, or not even bringing up trigger topics because they're afraid to upset their partner. Someone is like acquiescing so much that they're losing a sense of their identity, and their sense of personal space, personal freedom, personal identity is corroding as a result of being in a relationship where they can't really express themselves because they fear, they fear reprisal from the other person. And I feel like it's like wanting to bend over backwards to accommodate another person at the expense of your own self. And this was something that happened in the past, and I feel like it was very, very problematic. Um, what's coming through here is we do have the Two of Wands, and the Two of Wands is mirroring the Seven of Wands. The Two of Wands in this deck, I do feel it's like sailing away from a situation, a way of doing in the past that didn't really serve us well, and we're moving onward. We are still thinking about the past. We're trying to extract lessons from it, and we're trying to see, like, here's what happened. How can I make this situation better for myself? So I feel like for a lot of you, you have suitors if you're single, and I feel most of you might be. You have a few suitors that you're thinking about, but I feel like no one is really, standing out, or no one is like really, really outstanding in your periphery right now, because you're still stuck on somebody from the past. It was a significant relationship. You realize that it was not entirely healthy. You lost that sense of personal freedom, and you lost that ability to think and live for yourself, and you lost that sense of a little bit of your identity as a result of being in that relationship with the other person. And I feel like you've come to this sense of awareness. You are trying to move forward, and you're trying to find a partner that embodies all of these qualities that you're looking for, like good qualities that you've either written down, trying to manifest into your life. But either way, I do feel that you're in the process of searching, okay? For others of you who are in committed relationships, I definitely feel pregnancy. I definitely feel as well finally extracting yourself from ex situations, clearing up karmic debt with a relationship, like a relationship partner, a spouse, or something like that, concerning finances, concerning children, moving past it, reclaiming your power, and trying to move on. So I feel a lot of people who are single and newly dating, as well as people who just remove themselves from a really toxic environment, like a toxic divorce or something like that. And dating is really not on your agenda just yet, but fertility is really, really high for this month. So keep that in mind, just be careful. What I'm also getting here in terms of your advice cards, we do have the Three of Cups, and the Three of Cups usually is indicates a little bit of gossip, a little bit of a meddlesome third party that is involved in your environment. It can be via coworkers, bosses, people and their, ex-spouses that they might have children together and they're still talking to each other because they have to maintain that link for the children. So I definitely see some type of that coming through. I don't feel it's like sneaking around or anything like that, but I do feel like jealousy and a little bit of hostility, resentment coming through from exes, from your end or from their end or from family members as well that might not be truthful. Okay, but I do feel heavy father energy and mother energy coming through. Like if you're seeing somebody who is a father or a mother and they have children from a previous entanglement, I do sense something like that being a major source of contention between you and the other person. Your advice here with the Four of Swords basically indicates that I definitely feel if you have been dealing with some type of like a negative relationship, they're telling you this is a really good month for you to get out there and date. And you're going to be in a position where you're very well received. You might have multiple opportunities to date, multiple people that you can potentially date. And I do feel this is a card that comes up and it serves as a little bit of a warning because you're an air sign and this is an air suit. It's basically telling you that you have a lot of options on your plate. Okay, you literally have a lot of options, and it's telling you to like don't overextend your time and don't overexert yourself, because I do feel that you might drop the ball. You might be a little bit caught under the weather, okay, and caught in compromising situations. So just be very careful about that. We have this, stop go energy at the very beginning, which is like your overall theme, which basically means that you might make plans with someone, right? And then there's going to be stall communication, there's going to be vehicle problems or things like that that prevents you both from meeting one another. So they're saying, like, don't assume the worst, okay? Don't just say, oh, this person stood me up and they're playing me for a fool. Don't do that, because I do feel Mercury in retrograde periods are when transportation issues become the most prominent. So I do feel you want to give everybody the benefit of the doubt. So don't automatically assume that the other person is like yanking your chain, leading you on, playing you along. But if it happens more than once, then it's a lesson learned. But just try to give everybody the benefit of the doubt, because I feel like you're in a really good space and people do want to get to know you and to be involved with you. Okay, so keep yourself open-minded for that. Open-minded in that regards when it comes to new people. When it comes to existing people, what I feel is happening here is that you're getting a lot of warning signs. You're getting a lot of signals, okay? So this is a card about spiritual ascension, rising in vibration, rising in our consciousness, so that we are getting like intuitive messages from the universe to steer us in the right direction. When it shows up in the reverse position, it basically means like not getting enough rest, not getting enough sleep, burning the midnight oil, and overextending ourselves and thinking that we've got everything under control. So just be really careful about this. A lot of the times when we are rushing, constantly rushing, breezing through life, when we can't sit still and have a open and honest and clear conversation with ourselves, it basically means that we're not able to allow the spiritual messages to come through. And I feel one of the reasons that the messages are trying to come through for this month is that I feel you are dealing with somebody and you might be in a social setting, for example, and you might not know the people that you're interacting with really well. And then all of a sudden you're hearing like, in background noise that, so-and-so was here that night. And then you realize that, the person that you were dealing with was like not where they're supposed to be. So I feel something like that, something very serendipitous, something that is very fated as well. You are where you need to be so that you're getting the information that you have been wondering about. Okay, so there's something coming in here, and it's indicating that to me, and it's indicating to me that you've been getting warning signs for the past 4 months. And I feel that you held on because you're just like, I'm going to try to make this work. And it's telling you that there's something else better for you. And I feel like for the past 4 months, you might not have heeded the warning signs. And it's coming in loud and clear that there is something off about this situation and you're going to have to rectify. So that means whatever insights is coming through, I'm going to say this, whatever information that came through about a relationship partner, about a situation, you are going to have to sit with it and you're going to have to re-examine it because it's coming through in a time that is very crucial for you to do some reorganization, to do some reorienting of your life, your goals, and your priorities. And I do feel that you're going to have to, run with it and to incorporate it into your everyday life so that you can become just a better person. And so that you can be like conscious about which direction you want to head in, okay? So I do feel some important information coming in for this month. I feel that you're very, very well received on the social scene. I do see a little bit of jealousy as well coming in from other people. I do feel you have very strong protection as well. Very strong fertility that's coming through, fertile energy, and a really, really strong sense of like standards for yourself and for other people. And I don't feel you're going to be compromising, okay? So I do wish you the best, Geminis. If you like a private reading, please visit my website where you can book an appointment for yourself. The information is provided in the description box below. I will be back for the mid-month reading, and I'll talk to you soon. Take care. Bye-bye.